Today's lesson is on time management. Now, have you ever stopped and wondered what you would do if you had more time? Like more time before lunch, or even more time over lunch, more time in the evening. I feel like if I had more time in the morning, I would probably sleep in. And if I had more time over lunch, I would go for a walk. And if I had more time in the evening, I would read more. What would you do if you had more time? Well, one way for us to maybe gain a little more time, or at least not waste time, is by participating in proper and effective time management. Simply the process of planning and controlling the time we spend on specific activities. So here we have a list of the benefits of practicing effective time management. You deliver your work on time. You can often provide a better quality of work. You're more productive and efficient. You have less procrastination. Procrastination is something we'll learn about a little bit later. It's just a form of wasting time. Hopefully you'll have less stress and anxiety, which will turn into an improved quality of life. So you'll be happier, maybe healthier. You'll have more opportunities to grow in your career, and if all goes well, you'll have more time for leisure and recreation. So more time to sleep in, to take walks, and to read books, if that's what you're looking to do in your spare time. So let's look at the opposite of time management. That's failing to manage your time wisely. You could miss deadlines and appointments. You will have procrastination and lack of focus. Your workflow will be inefficient and of low quality. You will have additional unwanted stress. You will get a poor professional reputation. Your workplace relationships may become strained and may become difficult. There could even be financial penalties involved with wasting time at the workplace, and your work and life will just feel out of balance. Let's look at the word procrastination. It is a long word that simply means the act of delaying some tasks that need to be completed. So procrastination is just putting something off that you do not want to do because you have a conscious effort to do that. There could be many reasons why you procrastinate and decide not to do something that needs to be done. First one could be you just simply have a lack of energy. If you're not feeling well or you're sick, maybe you're tired, maybe you're just feeling lazy. If you have a lack of energy, sometimes you do not want to be active and do things that need to be done. You could be experiencing a lack of focus. This could be a physical lack of focus, when you physically cannot bring yourself to do something, or it could be mental, where in your head there's something blocking you and you will not be able to do the tasks put before you. The third reason could be fear of failure. And this is when our brains trick ourselves into thinking, if you don't do something, you won't fail. But really, by not doing something, you are failing. Now, a little bit of procrastination is okay, as long as the tasks eventually get done and get done well. Sometimes it's okay to put off some jobs until you're mentally and physically able to do them. So I want you to take a second right now to think about something you might be procrastinating about in your own life. So think about what it is that you are putting off that you do not want to do. I can tell you right now, for me, it is putting away my laundry. I do not want to do it. So, are you able to identify the cause of your procrastination? Is it one of these three causes on this slide? For me, I think mine is a lack of energy and a lack of focus. I know that putting my laundry away is going to take me probably 15 minutes of walking back and forth from my pile of clothes to my bed where I sort them, to my dresser where I put some away, to my closet where I put others away. And when I think about doing that, I really don't want to do that. I know it's only 15 minutes, but I don't want to do that. I also feel like I have a mental lack of focus. And for me, I'm explaining that in that my laundry is fine where it's sitting right now. So mentally, I feel like it's okay. It's okay where it is and it doesn't need to be put away. But if I leave things and they pile up, in a few days, I'm going to have an even bigger pile of laundry, and it's going to take me more time and more energy and more focus to put it away. So think about what you are procrastinating about. Can you kind of identify the causes? It's interesting when you talk out the causes or why you don't want to do something, you really realize that it's not that bad after all. And I've probably waited long enough and I can do it. So perhaps maybe after this lesson, I will go and put my laundry away. If you procrastinate, there will be a loss of time, because for every day that I think about not doing it, it means it's going to pile up, and when I do decide to put my laundry away, it's going to take me a lot longer. My loss of my goals. So goals are something that you want to complete. And if you do not do a task, you may never complete your goals. Loss of self-esteem. You may also feel bad about yourself and lose some confidence if you do not get things done to achieve your goals. And the last effect of procrastination is stress. Now, sometimes stress can be our friend, and it's okay to feel stress. But if procrastination causes you stress all the time, for a long amount of time, then it is a big problem. Let's take a look now at our own time management skills, and we'll do this little self-evaluation checkbox. This chart is found in your activities associated with this lesson. So if you have that printed off, you can check the boxes, or if you have it open in Word document, you can identify your answers electronically as well. So what I want you to do is to read each statement in the chart and then check the answer that applies to you. So there's no right or wrong answers. This exercise is just intended to help you recognize things about your own time management style. So take a few minutes to pause the video and work through this self-evaluation chart. When we look at potential answers to this self-evaluation, It really depends on whether you enjoy stress or not. Some people really like the added stress of an upcoming deadline, and stress is a motivator to get things done. So really, depending on how you view stress and the value of your time, our answers will be different. Typically, if you like strict deadlines, then you manage your time effectively. Usually, someone who prefers to be early rather than late makes better use of their time. But on the other hand, they've spent 15 minutes being early when they could have been doing another task during that time. So it really depends on how you look at the situation. People who like to improvise, which is spontaneously determine how and when to do things instead of planning, sometimes may not make effective use of their time. But on the other hand, sometimes the best experiences come from a spontaneous adventure. If you prefer to be in charge, how you manage your time and when you do things, then you probably have good self-management. If you have a difficult time estimating how long a task will take, sometimes that leads to wasting time or losing valuable time. Another question was if you have more motivation when there is a deadline. So like I said, some people appreciate the stress of a deadline to get them motivated to do things and do their best work. Some people feel like the upcoming deadline causes anxiety and it really forces them not to do their best work. The last statement was, I have difficulty keeping priorities in the most beneficial order. Sometimes if you do not keep your priorities in order and organized, you waste time and don't participate in effective time management. So like I said before, there are no right or wrong answers. This is just to determine what you feel like you have with respect to your time management skills. Taking advice from the chart on the previous slide, steps for better time management involves making a plan, prioritizing your tasks into most important to least important. Don't multitask. There was a time when it was really a good skill to be a multitasker and have multiple tabs open on your computer and to have lots of things happening and going on in your life at the same time. But there's been a switch because researchers feel like multitaskers do not focus and end up spending more time and wasting time on getting their tasks completed. So the new shift is to focus on one task at a time, not multiple. You should cut off your distractions. So don't have a lot of things happening around you that are going to interrupt your work or interrupt your thinking. Try and focus and not be distracted. Track your time and pay attention to where you spend it. Schedule your breaks. Breaks are very important in your school, work, and life schedules, and sometimes you actually need to schedule them in order to be sure that you take them. Find your most productive hours. Are you most productive in the morning? Are you most productive just after you've eaten a meal? Who is most productive at night? Find those hours and use them to your benefit. And lastly, please accept your limitations. Know that you can't do everything all the time. Accept that and be thankful and happy and accepting of what you're able to do. We are only giving 24 hours a day, and if you use them wisely, you should be very pleased with what you've done. We learned that planning is essential in good time management. We're going to do an activity now about time planning. So I would like you to either open the activity in a Word document or have it on printed paper. And I want you to think about tomorrow and think about a few activities that you plan to do tomorrow. In your first column, I would like you to write down the activities you plan to do. In the second column, titled Estimated Time, I would like you to guess how many minutes or hours it's going to take you to do each task. Once you have your activity and your estimated time, you can put your list away. Now, tomorrow, when you do these activities you have planned out, I'd like you to take your phone, use the stopwatch, the timer, or keep your eye on the clock, and actually time how long it takes you to do each activity. What this activity is going to prove to us is that sometimes we estimate a task is going to take us a certain amount of time, but in real life, it actually takes either much longer or even less time than we thought it would. So this time planning activity is to provide awareness for us to see where our time actually goes. After you've tried this for a day, you may consider doing it for even longer. Maybe you'd like to try it for a week. I think as you get going, if you tried it for a few days or even a week, you would either become very aware of how long it actually takes you to do something, and you would also become very aware of the interruptions or the distractions or things that waste your time. We've also learned that another essential tool in successful time management is prioritization. It is ordering your tasks and giving them specific periods of time based on how important they are. So in order to prioritize, you have to make certain you understand the requirements of each task. When I talked about putting my laundry away, maybe to you, that is just simply taking my clothes from a basket and putting them in a drawer. For me, I have many tasks involved in my laundry. It is taking them out of the basket, putting them in piles in my bed. One pile is for the closet, one pile is for the drawer, another pile is for another basket. And within each of those tasks, I have to fold certain items, I have to put items on hangers, so there are lots of subtasks I have to do as well. So you have to make sure you understand each task in order to decide how important it is. You also have to make decisions on importance and their impact on other things in your life and a level of urgency. So in the scheme of things, me putting laundry away is not as important as me cooking supper for my family. So if I had a half an hour of time, I could either put the laundry away or cook supper for my family. I have to decide which is more important. Now, sometimes it's hard to make those decisions. That one's an easy one. Sometimes food is a matter of life or death. But if you have half an hour to work on a paper or half an hour to go watch a Netflix series, sometimes the entertainment is more important to you. So it really depends on what your priorities are and what you need at that given moment in time. Here's a quick overview of some popular time management apps or tools that you may want to take advantage of. Calendar apps. Very important to have an accurate, up-to-date calendar. Ideally, a calendar that will send you alerts. There's also reminder and appointment apps. So Apple's Siri will give you reminders. There's also task listing apps. AnyDo, Trello are apps that help you prioritize and list your tasks. There are also note-taking apps, which can be important for students. There's Google Keep, Microsoft OneNote, and Evernote. There's all kinds of popular time management apps that you can explore. So here are some specific tools for students. This one is an assignment calculator, and I'm going to encourage you to use this for your technical report. You fill in the dates you will start and the date you will end and your type of project, and it breaks down your research essay into a list of tasks and when each is due. This is an excellent tool for your assignments. It links to support documents, so if you need help with any of the steps, the help is available as well. You can also create a PDF copy to have as well. Here are a few of the other apps that were identified on the chart. Evernote is both on computer and mobile, and it will assemble your notes, ideas, or thoughts in one place. Trello is another that organizes your projects, and it creates lists or boards that you can share with others that you're working with. So it will be really helpful for group assignments. We also have an app called Focus Booster, and that is designed after the Pomodoro technique, which we will look at in a minute. And that allows you to focus and break your tasks up into manageable chunks. The last helpful tool is called AnyDo, and it is the world's most favorite task management app, and it helps create to-do lists, reminders, and notes. And you can use that on both your phone and your computer. So now that we have the tools and we have the knowledge, let's take a look at strategies to effectively time manage. Now, the first one is called the Daily Top 3. And what it is that you take 3 things in your life each day that are most important for you to accomplish. Each day you choose these 3 things and you get them done. If you do complete this, even if you've taken 1 day off during the week, you have finished 18 tasks in 1 week. The Pomodoro technique is another famous time management strategy, and it is based on 5 steps. Number 1 is you decide on the task you wish to do, and you set a timer for 25 minutes. And you work on that one task until your timer rings. Then you take a short 5-minute break. Then you go back to step 1. You can either continue on the original task or maybe choose another task. and you repeat that 4 times. Then you take a longer break, a 15 to 30-minute break. This is effective because it breaks things down into smaller chunks and cycles of work, and being sure to include little short breaks. We all know that we can make tasks manageable if they're done in small chunks. The last and probably most interesting time management strategy is called Eat the Frog. And this comes from a famous quote by Mark Twain. And it is, if it's your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat 2 frogs, it's best to eat the biggest one first. So really what this means is that if a person takes care of the biggest, most unpleasant task first, that everything else done the rest of the day will be much easier. So it means get the biggest and worst task out of the way, and then the rest of the day will be a breeze. So if you're continuously distracted by anxiety over a task, or you just don't want to do it, it really can affect all the other tasks in front of you. So eat the frog first. Get it over with, and the rest will not be as difficult. So those are some really interesting time management strategies. What I want you to remember is that there are lots of technology tools out there. There are lots of strategies, but the most important thing with time management is for you to be aware. Be aware of your own style and what works for you. If you can be aware of how you spend your time and know the difference between wasting your time and enjoying your time, you're going to make the best use of your time. Now I have to go. I think I have some laundry to put away.